maybe you should tone it down, or maybe we should cut back. Like, never.
But inside, you're starting to realize, well, you have realized that I'm an empty shell. This is my
Well, and
crutch. How
yeah,
is it
and
with the
it's like,
kids? Sorry to cut you off, but usually when a mom has kids, all of a sudden it's, oh, here's my purpose. You know what? They mean so much to me. I've got to cut the drinking out.
right. Yeah, no, I was driving with them. Like, I'd be drunk. I'd have my kids in the car.
Hmm.
I look back at all the things that I did with them and even before them, and I'm like, how in the hell am I still alive?
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Like, it was bad. I always told my family if I didn't have a full-time job, I probably would have been arrested for drinking and driving with my kids in the car.
Yeah.
Because I would have been drinking all day. I love my kids to death, but it had such a hold on me that I had no control.
Yeah.
I lost complete control. Like, alcohol had taken a hold of me. Because what logical person will put young kids in their car and drive drunk? Like, it's not a logical thing that people do.
Yeah. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. I appreciate it. And then to go back, so you had your second husband, you got a divorce, and then you said enough is enough. And you were telling me that you went to AA and tried to get help there, but you realized it wasn't a good fit. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So, and I'm not one to bash any recovery system at all, because whatever works for you,
exactly,
take a hold of it and fucking fight for your life. But yeah, it didn't work for me. I would go to meetings and it would make me even more anxious, like listening to people talk about war stories, and it felt like, you would kind of glorify alcohol. You would kind of think they call it romanticizing. And so you would like romanticize about the times you drank and how wonderful it was. And I would feel, when I would leave, I would feel like drinking. And so it kind of was having the opposite effect on me. And so I was just, it was a seesaw. I'd go sober for 30 days and then I would drink. I would go sober for 2 weeks and then I would drink. The longest I had gone, I think, was 3 months. Like, I made it 3 months and then I would drink. I think the biggest thing that kept me from being sober was I never fully let go of that control. Like, I felt like an outcast. I felt a lot of anger. I felt a lot of resentment. Why can't I drink? Like, this sucks. This really sucks. I want to drink. I want to do whatever I want. All these other people can go out and enjoy a beer or, sit on a patio and have a good Saturday. Like, why the fuck can't I? And it pissed me off. And so I would drink just because I could, So again, it really...
It would be an excess. It's not, hey, I'm going to join these guys on the patio and have one or two. I'm going to drink and go full steam ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Day drinking turned into passing out at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, or, like acting like a 21-year-old all over again. It's like, grow the fuck up, Christina. It's time to grow up. Get your shit together. Like, this is not acceptable behavior.
Did the kids understand what was going on? They're 12, 8, and 5 now. So they were 10, 6, and 3 when you got sober. Were they completely oblivious? Did you have somebody who was watching them? Was your husband watching them before your divorce, and you were going out by yourself?
No, I was drinking at home.
Just at home?
I would drink at home, yeah. So I was a wine drinker. I would drink, 2, sometimes more bottles a night, just depended on when I would pass out. But typically, no. And now that they're a little bit older, they kind of will go back to memories and be like, oh yeah, that wasn't okay. Like, they see the difference in me now.
Yeah.
At the time, no, they didn't really know anything was wrong.
Gotcha.
Because that was their normal, I think. Like, that was what they were used to. They were, unfortunately, and as sad as it's to admit, they were used to their mom having a glass of wine in their hand. Like, that was their normal.
Yeah.
So to them, that wasn't wrong.
Yeah. But now your 12-year-old Did he understand what was going on now? Do you guys have conversations or no, not at all? Still too young?
Me too. No, we
Okay.
absolutely do. When they were little, it was mommy gets sick when she drinks alcohol. I'm allergic to alcohol. Like it was kind of that conversation. And now, and even with the 8 and 5-year-old, the 5-year-old doesn't really ask because he doesn't know.
Yeah, he isn't.
But yeah, like if they ever ask me, I'm very open about it. I say I'm alcoholic. Like it makes me sick. I can't do that. And I think it's really important to them. Like no matter what the age is, they need to know.
Yeah.
Like this is real.
Yeah.
This can really affect you. Like be careful.
Yeah, good. Creating awareness at a very young age. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, to go back, sorry, I kind of pushed the pause button and went back. You were going to AA, wasn't a good fit for you. How did you finally get sober?
So I'd always been interested in joining a church. It had always been something that I grew up in the church, but it wasn't something I connected with as far as the faith went, the community piece. It just always felt really strict. And I didn't like that. But I knew that there were places out there that were more welcoming and not as religious per se. So I found this church. The building the church is in used to be a strip club.
Wow.
Yeah.
No comment.
The people there are freaking amazing. I love these people. They're my people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the church is in an old strip club. The pastor has long hair and rides a Harley. Like
Nice.
Walk in, everybody in there's got a tattoo. There's a lot of recovering addicts from various, alcohol, drugs, whatever in there. It just has that vibe. Like you walk in and you just know like these people know what the fuck's going on. Like they get it.
So you felt safe, you felt comfortable, you started building relationships right away.
And immediately.
This is your community that empowered you and gave you strength.
Yeah, exactly. I think I always had this, well, God hates me because of this and this, these actions that I've had. Like God obviously hates me and I feel ashamed and I'm so scared and, no one's ever going to forgive me and I'm never going to forgive myself. And going in there, the first service, it was God loves you. Doesn't matter what you've done. What matters is that you are loved and that you can be better. And I immediately just was in tears, of course, and was just like, this is it. This is what I need.
So take us through that process. So you found the church, you fell in love, but did you stop drinking right away or you were still going to church? And then as you got more and more involved, you're like, all right, I realize that there's a higher power. I don't need alcohol anymore. Because a lot of people are out there struggling. They feel like they're never going to be able to end. So share that story of how you stopped.
Yeah. So I continue to have a greater relationship with my, and whatever your higher power is. It doesn't have to be God. It can be whatever it is for you. Whatever works for you. Like that's what it's so important to me that people understand what I did and what I've done doesn't work for you. It might, but it doesn't have to. Like whatever your path is your path. Like find it, hold on tight to it and don't let it go. So for me, it was this church and it was gaining a more understanding of a relationship with God, having forgiveness with myself. Like that was the hardest part, was forgiving myself for everything that I had done. Because we're our worst critic, right? We're hardest on ourselves. People weren't sitting around me pointing fingers at me, calling me names. It was me. Like I was doing that to myself. So I really had to let go of all of that and just finally forgive myself. And my last drink, it was one of those Sunday afternoons. It was beautiful outside, sat on the porch, started drinking at 1:00 in the afternoon, drank all day, all night, passed out. And I woke up so sick. I was sick for 3 days.
Oh, wow.
It took me 3 days to recover. And the following, that first day, I got on my knees and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Please take this from me. Please, because I can't. And so at that point, I finally I let go of that control. And that's the biggest thing. You have to stop feeling like you need to control this because you can't. You have to let it go and allow your higher power or whatever it is, take it from you. because it's not yours to have. It's not doing you any favors. Just let it go.
And you let it go.
And I let it go.
And now you're over 2 years sober.
Exactly. Yep. And, and it wasn't one of those, okay, I'm sober. Yay. Now everything is rainbows and unicorns and life is awesome. Like,
life is still pretty fucking hard every day.
Yeah. And that's when the real work, like now it's like, oh shit, life fucking sucks, man. Like this is hard doing this sober. But that wasn't very long, honestly. Like that wasn't long. I was able to get through like the really hard stuff after that first year. Like now things are getting easier.
So when things did get really hard, did you have, I know you didn't do the sponsor, but would you call your friends from church? Would you immediately connect? I mean, you had to do it with the help of somebody else. You weren't trying to do it alone.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I call her my church mom, but she was really who I clung to. She helped me anytime I needed, so 3 weeks after I got sober, I was sitting on my couch. I was going through Facebook and saw this ad for CrossFit. And I'd always, like I said, I grew up playing sports. I was always active. And I was like, yeah, well, we'll see. And it was really cool. It was like, try us out for 3 days a week. It was this really it was a challenge. They called it a challenge for 6 weeks. I'm like, what else am I going to do? Why not? And so 3 weeks sober, I started CrossFit. And that really was the catalyst that kept me together. Mm-hmm. I had a really good group at church. They were my family. And now I had this extra group of people that I felt really comfortable with. And I never shied away from saying, I'm sober, I'm in recovery. It was never a secret. And they appreciated that and they respected that. And I never got these looks like, oh, don't talk to the alcoholic over there. Don't talk to that girl. Like she's fucking crazy. It was tell me more. Like they wanted to know like what happened. And so I had that group of people as well. And so I felt like I finally had a solid group of people that I could go to and be real with. Like that's the biggest thing. Like find your people that you can be be real with. Yeah. Because I think that was another thing why with drinking, it felt so fake. And I never felt like I was myself because I never felt like I could be myself ever. And so with sobriety and recovery, it was like, oh, be you. And if these people don't like you, then they're not your people. Yeah. And that's cool. Like, whatever.
Well, you seem to be in two great groups because obviously we know how beneficial it is going to church and how many amazing people you can meet there. But I also love the CrossFit community. It's such a tight-knit community. And if you think about it, it's go back to that word, empowering community, because you're all there to support one another. You're all there to be accountable together. And I mean, you're in a great spot. You're in an absolute great spot. So tell me, how does it feel to finally be free from alcohol? Like, how does it feel?
It feels like unicorns and rainbows. It really, I'm not like, it feels amazing. Like when you finally break free of those chains, it is just the most empowering thing you can do for yourself. Like I feel like I'm normal now. I feel like I'm a normal human functioning in society now. And it's amazing. I don't have to worry about waking up tomorrow hungover. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to do this weekend. I don't have to, I'm not controlled by this thing, this dominant force, this darkness. It's gone.
How is your social anxiety? For me personally, I battle social anxiety as well. It's always going to be there. I'm sure it's reduced a little bit, but it's still there. Or is it?
No, it is. I still have moments, honestly. Just something will trigger it, and I can't tell you what it is. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm just having a bad day, but something will trigger, and I'll just be like, and I'll go back. I'll go into myself. I'll get up in my head, and I want to run. I want to run really far away, and I don't want anybody to look at me. And those moments, I really just have to allow myself to feel it. And that's the other thing with sobriety. You feel everything. Yeah. Everything is heightened awareness, and it sucks and it's great at the same time because we have to feel these emotions. We're built that way. That's makes us human. So in those moments, yeah, they don't come as often as they used to, but I still do